Hey, hey, hey! Whew. Welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. If you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode is a post-fight episode for Luke Rockhold versus Costa Philippou, UFC Fight Night. Yeah, on Fox Sports 1. It was a great main card, full of explosive fights in the middleweight division, especially. And yeah, let's do a rundown of the main card. So the main event was Costa Philippou versus Luke Rockhold, two middleweight contenders ranked in the top 10 in the UFC. Yeah, at the tail end of this, before the fight started, I was like, you know what, I guess I'll go with Luke Rockhold on this one and pick Luke Rockhold to win, because I figured he would keep his distance, avoid the takedowns, use his reach, and that's exactly what he did. He won by liver kick, and it was just round 1 TKO. It was just like barely halfway into the first round. It was an explosive, exciting match. Congrats, Luke Rockhold. Can't wait to see you again in the UFC. And then, yeah, that was the main event in the middleweight division. Then the co-main event was Brad Tavares versus Lawrence Larkin. Brad Tavares, he mixed it up well and he won a clean unanimous decision victory. It was a great fight. Brad Tavares is now 7-1 in the UFC. And Brad Tavares, he is one of those guys that, wow, when you look at him, it's mind-boggling. It's pretty amazing because he didn't win season 11 of The Ultimate Fighter. Court McGee did. And now he has a better win-loss record in the UFC than Court McGee. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, the guy is really, he was really the dark horse this entire time on Ultimate Fighter season 11. Yeah, Brad Tavares, he's looking good. And his only loss was a decision loss. So he hasn't been knocked out or submitted. I think the guy really does need to fight a top 10. Some people are saying he should fight Yoel Romero next, but I think Brad Tavares, he wants a top 10, give him a top 10. He's earned it. He's definitely earned himself a better contract in the UFC. I am a Brad Tavares fan. Got family in Hawaii, so hey, gotta like Brad Tavares. Okay, then also on the main card, in the bantamweight division, we had TJ Dillashaw versus Mike Easton. Yeah, TJ Dillashaw, he won this match, mix it up, got the takedowns, he got good strikes landed throughout the whole match. And TJ Dillashaw, I thought he was going to knock out Mike Easton because it looked like Mike Easton was just gassed and worn out in the mix of this match. I would say round 2. Mike Easton, though, like Dana White said, should have gone for broke in round 3. But I just think TJ Dillashaw is really that good. And Mike Easton's a great fighter, but TJ Dillashaw was just that much better that particular night and overwhelmed Mike Easton. And TJ Dillashaw, I say, is 1 or 2 fights away from a title fight in the bantamweight division. Young guy, still has a lot of life left in him. But he has the experience now in the UFC. He's looked good, and yeah, he's definitely ranked in the top 10 for good reason. Congrats, TJ Dillashaw. Yeah, he won by unanimous decision. And then also on the main card, in going back to the middleweight division, we had Yoel Romero versus Derek Brunson. Yeah. And Yoel Romero won by elbows to the body TKO, round 3. Yoel Romero, he's a great fighter. I think a lot of people have high hopes for him. But I think when it gets to the top 5, he's going to struggle because of his cardio. Because Yoel Romero he gets gassed, he gets tired, and it's just Derek Brunson was that much more tired, and he was able to capitalize. I think Derek Brunson could have won this match, But Yoel Romero, not to take anything away from him, he's a great fighter, and he'll go places in the UFC. I can't say he'll be champion because I think Chris Weidman could deal with his wrestling. But, you know, he is heavy-handed and he'll win by knockout in the UFC again. And he's a talented fighter, definitely a good addition to the UFC. Congrats to Yoel Romero. And then also on the main card we had in the flyweight division, John Moraga versus Dustin Ortiz. Yeah, this was a split decision win for John Moraga. This fight, towards the end of it, it was easily John Moraga, but the first round I think was Dustin Ortiz. Either the first or second was Dustin Ortiz, I think, won a round. And then round 3, I think, was definitely in favor of John Moraga. I think momentum picked up for Moraga, and he started to look good in this match. Landed more strikes, was able to deal with the ground game, and yeah, just overall John Moraga, he's definitely ranked in the top 10 for good reason. He was coming off a loss to Demetrius Johnson in the flyweight title fight, so now he's definitely back up there in title mix. But not to take anything away from Dustin Ortiz, even though he lost the match. I think Dustin Ortiz is still up there in the flyweight division, and I think Dustin Ortiz will bounce right back. But yeah, John Moraga, we're going to see more of him, and he's not looking too bad. Then, to kick off the main card, we had in the featherweight division, Cole Miller versus Sam Cecilia. I was really bummed out about this fight because I'm a Sam Cecilia fan. I met him last year in Anaheim, hung out with him a little bit at a sports bar. Him and Michael Chiesa, and yeah, just great guy. Sam Cecilia is rooting for him. But Cole Miller, he was able to use his reach and his height, and he won by submission rear naked choke, and that was in the second round. And Cole Miller is just talented overall, and he's definitely, I think, going to be more consistent now in the featherweight division. But I think the UFC should not rush him and give him too difficult to fight, you know, right off the bat after this win. But it's definitely a good win for Cole Miller, but bummed out about Sam Cecilia losing this fight. Yeah, so that wraps up the post-fight show for UFC Rockhold versus Philippou. And yeah, stay tuned for my next episode, which will be Ben Henderson versus Josh Thompson. And hopefully I'll be able to do a pre-fight for that, if not a post-fight. So until then, see ya.